Three, two, one, and we're live. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing Sunday morning? I'm ready to play today. We're basically in playing mode because today, this evening, I'm gonna be playing with my buddies. So I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, I'm just like warming up a little bit. It's always good to get the fingers in shape, or even from early in the morning, because the morning sets the day, right? So I'm playing this guitar. This is a guitar I reviewed a while back. This is a really cheapy Jackson that I picked up, I think under $200 when I picked it up. And it's a great guitar, man. I gotta say, it's like for the money, it's a really good kick around guitar. I upgraded the pickups, as you can see. I don't remember what I put in here. I was looking back in my videos to see if I had ever reviewed these pickups, but I don't remember what they were. I think they may have been a set of Guitar Fetish pickups, maybe. I don't remember, guys. I'm sorry, but I changed so many pickups that after a while I have a hard time keeping them straight. But they sound good to me. The original ones were not as good, I find, but these ones, you can get the squeals out of them. So you get some nice sort of. So basically, yeah, these are definitely a lot of value for the money. I mean, if you have to buy the parts alone, I mean, you can't buy an entire guitar's worth of parts for $200. Even just the body alone will cost you probably close to that. So I keep my eyes out for some of these because honestly, they're great modding platforms. They got a nice neck. It's a little bit of a wider neck, not as deep, more wide, but and you could probably even convert these to a Floyd if you wanted to, without that much effort. So yeah, great guitar, in great shape. So I'm liking this guitar. I haven't played this guitar in a while. I was actually debating whether or not I should flip it for a while, but after playing it today, I'm like, nah. This is great. Just keep it in the pile for now. If you don't feel like it's time, then it's not time. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Show number 79, getting close to the big 80. I guess we're gonna have to try and figure out something for the 80th show. Welcome to everyone that is here already in the basically Sunday morning. Grab your coffee, grab your phone, your iPad, your tablet, your laptop, whatever, and just listen as we spend some time together. Today I'm going to have to stop at 1 hour. So at exactly what time is it now? So it's either 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I gotta stop, guys. Usually I keep it going. I often say I have to stop, and then I end up going for 2 hours, 2 hours and a half. But today, unfortunately, my schedule will not allow that. So please don't hesitate to start, asking questions or, jumping into the conversation. I know a lot of you lurk a little while and then jump in when things get nice and the conversation gets hot. So by all means, don't be shy. Let me say good morning to the guys already here. Richard, good morning. Almost had a pinch harmonic there. Yeah, almost. Fat Philosopher's here. Cohen. Hey, Cohen, man. I like the pictures you sent over. A really hot looking guitar. Cohen has been busy building guitars and seems to be quite good at it from what I can tell. That's a really nice looking guitar, Cohen. I'm always impressed by the stuff that you put together. Quicksilver is here as well. Good morning. Rico, good morning. Tonefish, how are you? Cool Tunes, nice to see you, buddy. So Joey's here as well. Nice to see you, Joey. And Alan, obviously down of New Jersey. Paul, good to see you, buddy. Gospel of Mark. So a lot of familiar faces in the house, which is great. I like to see the guys coming back. The Nye as well is here. So if I missed anybody, it's just because I'm trying to not fall behind on the comments. All right. So if there's anything that I missed at the beginning section, I'll just quickly go through the first questions, and then I'll jump to the bottom. And if I missed you, please just ask your question again. Wayne's here too. Good morning, Wayne. Yeah, so basically, before we jump into things, there's the poll question. And I think some of you might not know where the poll is. Under my channel, there's a community section where polls get posted. And I don't know if you have to sign up for those to be able to get it or not. But the poll question was based around what guitar Stevie Ray Vaughan considered to be his I'm not gonna say, I don't know if I worded it as being the favorite. What did I say? What did Stevie Ray Vaughan name his most beloved guitar? It kind of is an ambiguous question, because we know that there's a few guitars that Stevie played all the time. And the options were Lenny, Scotch, Jimbo, Number One, and Charlie, even though he had a few other guitars. I think the guitar that people most associate with Stevie is the Number One guitar, right? Because he played that one almost all the time. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it was his most beloved guitar, because it could be his favorite guitar, but not necessarily his most beloved guitar. So that was, I think, part of the trick question, but I'm going to get into that in a little while. So if you haven't already answered that question, you should be able to find the poll question. I don't know if I can share the link here again. Let me see. Maybe I can. No, I could repost it, but I can't share the link to it for some reason. I don't know why. Here, let me try to do it this way. Let me see. Can you guys? I'll put the link in the question in the chat, and maybe you can copy and paste that. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Let me know if you can. Otherwise, we'll just talk about it. It's all good. So, okay, let's go back to some other questions here. All right, I'm just scrolling back briefly and then we'll move forward, guys, all right? All right, so the Gospel of Mark says, I have band practice this afternoon in the band that I play bass in. I'd rather be playing guitar. Yeah, me too. But you know what? Sometimes playing bass isn't bad. There's less pressure, you know, and it's good to keep just, you know, practice timing. You know, if you play bass, I think it's also good because it makes you focus a little bit more on something other than the guitar. I play bass once in a while. I used to play drums too. And I felt that, you know, learning how to play drums was great because you really do focus in a lot more on the drum when you're listening to the entire band as a whole. And it makes you more aware of timing and rhythm and all that kind of stuff. So the more instruments you can play, the better it is. You know, if you take courses at places like, you know, there's these places like MIT, what do they call that? The Musicians Institute, Berkeley, and all that kind of stuff. They encourage, actually, they oblige you to take another instrument. So either piano or some other instrument, even if you're playing guitar. And I think that's a great way of going about it, so you can get a different perspective. So that's pretty cool that you're doing the bass fill-in. Um, I'm playing tonight too, so I'm really happy. I'm actually looking forward to playing with the guys. Yesterday I was crazy busy trying to get my pedal board in order. I don't know if you guys are like this or not, but before a show or before a gig or something like that, I spend time just frantically reevaluating what I have on my board to see, like, oh, should I change this pedal out and take this one today, and try and figure out, okay, I'm going to take this guitar today with this, ensemble of pedals, and maybe I'm going to take this amp today. So I was doing that last night. So I got a whole bunch of pedals behind me on the floor, and I was just comparing A to B and trying to get that. I don't know. It just kind of makes me feel better. I don't know if it's an anxiety thing or ADD thing, but I always find myself doing that. So Joey, thank you for the super chat, buddy. I really appreciate that. And he says, "Hey, great news! I'm the first." Tagama dealer in Southern New York. I get my first order next week. Well, congratulations on that, Joey. Awesome news. Are you going to be posting those on a website somewhere? How are you going to be putting out that information? I'm just wondering. That's great news, buddy. I mean, I know you're working hard trying to get the ball rolling on your end, so that's definitely going to help you guys. If anybody's interested in any of the Tagama products, definitely contact Joey. That's something to be really proud of, man. Awesome news. Alan says the entry-level Jacksons are great value. Yeah, I agree. Fat Philosopher says it's been raining ever since the Olympics finished. Yeah, I don't know. The weather here has been really muggy. Yesterday, I think it was 34. That was without the humidity factor. With the humidity, it was probably in the high 40s. Today's probably going to be the same. So playing today in a room with very little air conditioning and hot amps is going to be a challenge. I'm definitely going to have to bring a lot more water. Quicksilver's conflicted. I walked into a guitar store in over a year. They had both the new Blueburst PRS SE and the charcoal one, both made by Cortec, but the figuring on the top of the charcoal was nicer. So why not get the charcoal? Are you more leaning towards the Blueburst Quicksilver? They both, I mean, they look like great guitars. Both of them do. I checked those out and they look really nice. I wouldn't mind grabbing one of those myself. Charcoal's cool, man. Blueburst is nice as well. I feel maybe the blue would eventually not age as nice in terms of like falling out of style, because it is a little bit more out there, where the charcoal, usually would go with anything, right? And it's a safe color to go with as well. Maybe not as bold. Today, guys, I'm living on the edge. I'm living on the edge because my dog has the cone of shame. She's wearing the cone of shame behind me because she scratched her face and she got a little injury, and she's always scratching at it and making it worse. So I said, that's it. I'm putting the cone of shame on her. And unfortunately, because she follows me everywhere, I'm in this small room now with the dog with the cone of shame on her head, and it's an accident waiting to happen because I have all my guitars here, and she's very clumsy with this thing, banging into walls and stuff because she can't manipulate it properly. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we're not going to have an accident here today, but thankfully she's taking a nap, so hopefully she'll nap through the entire thing and we won't have a mishap. I don't recommend this. If you guys have a dog, I definitely don't recommend this. So Joey says, look me up on Reverb first name or on Google, search for the love of guitar, mention Tony, and I'll share the wealth. That's nice of you, Joey. Thank you very much, buddy. I'm going to check it out too later on today. I'm just going to see what's out there, what you're offering. And let's see here. Tony, awesome teaching the fret dressing video. Oh, thank you, Cool Tunes. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know how many people are into that kind of stuff. I mean, it's not something that everybody's going to want to watch, but I figured it would be cool to kind of share that with everyone. I get asked these questions all the time. As a matter of fact, I'm considering making a follow-up video. Somebody recently asked me how to install tuners on a guitar, specifically the ones that Fender make that have the little pins on the back of it, the two little nibs that are a little bit tricky because you have to kind of drill holes in the right position to get them in there. So I might follow up a video at one point showing how to do that, or how I do that without having a template, because sometimes you don't have a template to do that and it's kind of hard to get the holes in the right place. So we'll see how things roll out, but I might do that. But I'm glad you guys are liking it. I'm liking these kind of videos as well. It makes a little bit of a change between the gear review videos that I do. And since I'm building a lot more guitars these days and I'm working on my guitars all the time, why not share the knowledge? Quicksilver says, the conflict comes from the fact that I think the carve on the blue burst is the new one, and I think the charcoal burst has the old carve. Oh, I see what you mean. I also prefer the black finish on the back. Yeah, I get what you... So the carve is a little bit, what, deeper now, or they just changed the profile on it? It would be great if they just make the carve identical to the ones on the US models. That would be awesome. If they do that, then it would be like, you know, everybody would want to get an SE because they're so affordable, or much more affordable. They're not cheap. I'm not going to say they're cheap, but they're definitely more affordable. So that's cool. Let's see here. So should we get down to the answer to the poll, or we'll leave it a little bit? Let's leave it a little bit longer. We'll do that towards the end of the show. Seth says, finally added shipping to Canada, Japan, and the UK, so most of the group can check out current builds. Awesome. Cool, Seth. That's great, man. Great news. So everybody is included now. That's awesome. If you guys want to check out Seth's stuff, he's got some interesting guitars as well that he works on, builds, puts together, sells. So there's always stuff going on his end, as well as the fact that Seth would be able to hook you guys up if you need any kind of fret leveling, especially since he has the fancy equipment to do the level by machine, which is called a Plek machine. If you guys don't know, look up what that is. But it's a very precise way of doing fret levels, and he offers that as well. So if you're looking at doing that for your guitar, contact Seth and he'll be able to hook you up. Larry has a little trivia. SRV's #1 Strat had a Pau Ferro fingerboard. Is that true? Is that indeed true, Larry? That's interesting. If that is true, I didn't know. From the photos I looked at, it looked rather dark, so it didn't look like Pau Ferro, but there are different hues to that kind of thing. Where did you hear that from? I did watch the video where they're taking Stevie's guitar, and I think Fender was doing this. They're in a hotel room somewhere and they're just analyzing the guitar. There's no sound to it, but you see there's a few people in the room and they're just, really close, detailed video. Not the best video quality, mind you, because it was way back, but you get to see all of the little details on the guitar. And I think they were doing that while they were getting ready to create the replica #1. So Gear Junkie says, new pedal week, Behringer BO300 Blues Driver clone, 95% there, is an AB playthrough, best 33 spent in quite a while. So that's cool. The Behringer stuff, for making clones is definitely a good, I guess, value if you're not gonna worry too much about the longevity of the pedals. They're normally made of plastic, so they won't really last too long on the road. But if you're just playing them at home, yeah, it's better. You're better off spending $33 than $130, right? Thank you, Rico. Thank you. I'm glad you liked the fret video as well. Nice to hear that. And Gear Junkie too. Thank you, buddy. So yeah, I guess if you're you know building your own guitars, then you would get value out of those videos. Fat Philosopher is still having issues with his order, right? He says the dude tried to con UPS by putting a wrong weight on the guitar, got sent back to him, and when I asked for a refund, he tried not to refund shipping because he did ship the guitar. Yeah, that's got trouble written all over it, Fat Philosopher. If you can cut your losses and get rid of it, man, I dropped that one like a hot potato. You can usually tell what's going to happen just by these little things that are popping up here and there. It doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies. So yeah, Larry says he totally enjoys guitar maintenance videos. Me too. I like watching them. I like learning new stuff. I have a couple of builds going on right now. I'm getting ready to build my Frankenstrat, which is going to be a lot of fun, but also a bit of a challenge because it's really a unique guitar, and you have to kind of aim to build a crappy guitar. No offense to anybody who likes Eddie Van Halen, but the Frankenstrat was a disaster in terms of how he put it together. I'm surprised he even managed to play that guitar properly. But I'm lucky because I got a whole bunch of photos, really detailed photos from when the guitar was on display in the museum in New York City. So I have a whole library of really, really close-up photos of the entire original guitar. And most of the time when you're looking for reference photos on the internet, especially for Eddie's guitars, most of the time replicas pop up. So you're looking at a copy and it's already kind of off. So now I have the original photos, which are going to help me basically build the guitar. But I'm really not going to spend, 3,000 hours building this thing. I'm going to build it as close a close proximity to what it was, but I'm not going to spend time, drilling every single little hole and every single little scuff and all that kind of stuff. I don't have the time to do that, but I do want to get a nice sort of, a close proximity to what it was and get the feel, the vibe, the mojo of the guitar. So I have a donor body already lined up, and I'm gonna do a review on that because I got the donor body as a kit. And I was really impressed by it because it was well put together. So that video is going to be coming up. I'm going to show you the kit that I'm starting with, and then probably record a few videos along the way while I'm building the guitar. So the routing process to get the routing messed up like he messed it up. The quarter position, drilling the holes for that, converting the kit into a Floyd with a locking nut because it doesn't have a locking nut on it right now. So that's that's going to be a little bit tricky as well. And getting it to look, used up and banged up and played, So that's definitely going to be a fun project for me to do. And I'm going to take my time with that one. I'm going to be just going slow and I kind of like to drag these out because I feel like it gives me something to do on my downtime when I'm bored or something. So I have that one that I'm going to be building. I still have to do some last minute tweaks to the butterscotch Telecaster that I built, which is back here. You'll see it right there. Great guitar so far, man. I'm really liking that guitar. It turned out great. The pickups in that guitar I have to do a review for as well because those are Porter pickups that I put in there. Those are their budget line of pickups, which sound pretty good, man. I'm really liking the way they sound. For the amount of money that they cost, they're really great sounding pickups. I'm really happy with them. And so I got to do a review on that, and then I'll do an unveiling video on the Telecaster as well, show you the whole thing, talk about it a little bit for those of you that are interested in building your own guitars. And at the same time, I have some tweaks to do on the Kramer, just a couple of little things. So that might turn into a messy workbench video or something. And great news as well is I actually started cleaning up. My wife has been asking me to throw out boxes and clean up stuff and do some tidying because I'm a rather messy person. And I actually came across some parts that I had lying around. You know, I often talk about my tickle trunk. Well, within the tickle trunk, I pulled out all of the parts that were lying around, and I basically got them down to a small bin because there were so many things in there. And so I have, oh man, I have the bin here. This is the bin. And basically this bin is full of guitar stuff. Guitar, mostly hardware. I'll show you a little bit. And I don't know, you can see here, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Well, you know, everything from, you know, input jacks, back plates, there's, you know, they have bridge saddles, we have Floyd Roses, we have, you know, a bunch of trem arms, we have, you know, more bridges. Anyways, long story short, guys, I have enough parts in here to put together my Strat that I've been waiting to do. So I decided that I'm gonna, first of all, close this thing. I decided that I'm gonna start that project because the best way to get things out of the way is to put them together and build guitars out of them. So I still have this beautiful harness from Gun Street for a Strat that I don't know if you guys checked out Gun Street's products, but they make some really nice circuits. And this one is a beautiful Strat circuit. So I have the electronics covered. I have the pickups covered because I had taken my Tone Rider pickups out of one of my guitars. This is my Tone Rider pickups. These are a great set of Tone Rider City Limits. I like them a lot. So I have the pickups under control. So I'm hooked up with the pickups. And I have all of the hardware. Now the thing is, the hardware, most of the hardware that I have, I had originally purchased to build a replica SRV #1. And I never got around to building that project because I actually had put it together and I didn't have the heart to relic it. I just felt like it looked too good and I didn't feel like I wanted to relic it. So I never actually built that project. But I still have all the gold hardware, and I'm not a huge fan of gold, but I don't have a Strat that has gold hardware. So I figured I have everything. I have the tuning pegs that are gold, I have the bridge, I have everything, input jack, strap locks, the whole enchilada. So I figured why not put it together with the gold hardware and see how it looks. So I'm gonna probably do that in the short term and build another Strat. Not that I need another Strat, but I have everything. I have the body, I have the neck, and maybe that could turn into a bunch of videos as well as part of a build. So should be interesting. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I don't know eventually if it's just gonna stay you know, original paint job. I don't want to relic it. I really don't. So it's probably just gonna be a nice Strat 3-tone sunburst. The neck on that is gonna be, is that a maple neck I have on that one? I believe it's a rosewood neck that I'm gonna go with, and it's gonna be another nice Strat to have around. So I can't wait to get that one done. Yeah, Larry, it's not always easy, man. Sometimes, you know, you think you have everything and you're missing just that one thing. I was originally, when I was putting together the Telecaster, the butterscotch one, I was doing intonation, and one of the screws for the bridge saddles was just a little bit too short to be able to get it intonated properly, and I thought I might have a longer screw, and I didn't. So, and they're hard to find, man. They're hard to find. Those screws at a longer length, nobody carries them in terms of like hardware stores and stuff like that. So you got to find them online, and you got to bite the bullet and get them ordered to be able to get what you need sometimes. But I'm very anal, and I like the guitars to be intonated properly, and I'm not happy when they're not. So I'm gonna find the right length screw, and that's one of the little tweaks that I have left on the Telecaster. I'm missing a string tree on that. I didn't want to go with a standard Strat style one. I like the round ones for my Telecasters, and I thought I had one. I don't have anymore, and they're out of stock everywhere. So it's like, you need stuff. You think you have a bunch of stuff, but you're always missing a few things. Let's see here. Quicksilver, I really like the Tone Rider HSS set, which are two classic blue single coils and the Birmingham Bridge HB. So I didn't try that one. I didn't try the Tone Rider HSS set. I had tried some humbuckers, and I landed on those City Limits, and I love those ones. And those ones are like my go-to Tone Rider set for Strats. Tomorrow I'm going to look at a used PRS SEEG. It was their Strat style guitar they used to make long before the Silver Sky. No one complained then, probably because Meyer's name wasn't attached. Probably. I remember those. They were nice looking guitars. I think they didn't really catch on at the time because they were kind of a pretty different take from what the standard PRS guitars were doing at the time, and I guess the single coils looked a little bit out of place at the time. But now with the Silver Sky, yeah, they might actually become fall into favor again and become more popular. Fat Philosopher wants to know, what song are you opening up with tonight? Good question. We usually don't. We play it by ear. We just play whatever we feel like it. We're not really going to be, sticking to a particular set. I mean, we have our song selection, and we just, roll whatever feels good. We usually jump right into another song. When you get the momentum going and you start playing something, then you're warmed up, and then somebody just jumps into the first couple of notes of the next song, and everybody just jumps in, and we just keep it rolling that way. Very spontaneous type of thing. Yeah, maybe I will give that HSS a try. I was for the longest time trying to find a good set to go into my Sir Classic Sir Standard Pro, which is a HSS guitar, and I almost gave up. I mean, I tried a couple of different things, and not that the sets were not good. It's just that I always feel like there's a mismatch between the bridge being a humbucker and the single coils, and I just don't like the jump in sound between the humbuckers and the single coils. So maybe HSS sets are not for me. Anyways, I ordered a pick guard for my Sir, which fits two humbuckers. So I'm thinking of converting that one over to some humbuckers. And I just haven't gotten around to ordering humbuckers yet for it, but I eventually will, and hopefully that guitar will get a lot more use, because right now it's kind of gathering dust, because it's, again, I'm just not 100% happy with the sound. Seth is talking about after wax and buff, it looks so good. Peep out my recent build on Reverb. Two-tone vintage bursts has the waxed and buffed PF. That's one of the things I'm missing. Is the ability to buff a guitar. I don't have one of those big buffers that you use. And that would be amazing if I could get my hands on something like that, even used. They cost a fortune. But for guitar builds, they're awesome, man. You can really get the factory shine finish on it without having to put the elbow grease. You can do it by hand. It just takes way more effort. Yeah, so we're talking about rosewood fretboards. I'm a big sucker for rosewood, man. I'm happy that a lot of the guitars that I have that I had gathered before the sites thing happened was rosewood, because now it's getting harder and harder to get actual rosewood. And I know the SRV that they came out with, the signature SRV that Fender put out, had a Paro Ferro board on there. So they were already kind of finding substitutes. So Quicksilver says and confirms that they claim the top carve on the SEs are now rounder. Violin carve or something like that, they call it. Still nowhere near the USA PRS carve. Yeah, I'm not surprised, because that's the bread and butter that that's the reason why people like the carves so much. That's the classic thing, right? So if they finally do, I guess that's the ace in their sleeve. When sales start to dwindle, they're gonna probably launch the SEs with the same carve, and then the sales are gonna go back up again, pretty sure. Gospel of Mark says, I think finally ready to sell my Les Paul. I'm feeling tired of Gibson bringing lawsuits against everyone. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, man, I was in the same state of mind not long ago. I did a video on that as well. I just felt like they were bullying everyone. Right now, though, I'm thinking like, I don't know, maybe it's just we like to pick on Gibson. I'm not really sure why. I like to pick on Gibson primarily because of their prices, because I feel like they're really handing it to us pretty aggressively on the pricing. So that's the reason why I feel like I have a bitter taste in my mouth about Gibson. But lately it's just because they're making signature guitars left and right. Everything's a signature guitar. And it's like, I don't know, they're jumping on the signature bandwagon, and they're just trying to put so many new things out there to entice people. I mean, I don't mind signature guitars, but I mean, recently I saw a Kiefer Sutherland signature guitar. He's an actor, but he's got a signature guitar. This thing, and I believe it's a Gibson, I think they call it the KS336 or something like that. It's a gold top semi-hollow guitar. It's not an ugly looking guitar, but I mean, why do I need a Kiefer Sutherland signature guitar? Like, why didn't they just release that guitar without making it a signature series? Because anything that's a signature series is going to cost more money, right? That's basically why. So I don't know. I mean, I find the hanky panky is not something I go for too much. I never did play a Maybach back guitar. Their SGs and Les Pauls look amazing. I would have to take a look at them. I really like the Collins guitars as well. Like, if you're looking for an alternative to a 335 or a Gibson style guitar, the Collins stuff looks amazing, but I think they're pretty darn expensive. Gospel of Mark says, I had a friend who worked in Hollywood. He ran into Kiefer Sutherland at a bar and said he was wasted and picking fights with everyone. I'm not surprised. I think Kiefer Sutherland is, he's a little bit heavy on the booze. I like his dad. Definitely a great actor. I guess Kiefer wanted to be a rock star and ended up being a movie star instead. There's a few people like that. Johnny Depp is also like that, and there's a few others. I believe, who else has, isn't it, what's the other actor's name that's into guitars big time as well? Man, his name, it's too early in the morning, but there's a few other actors that I know of that are big on guitars and have nice guitar collections as well. Mr. Tickle. I don't know if he has a signature Strat yet, but he probably will end up with one eventually. This one just begs to be. I mean, it does it pretty good. I mean, for 200 bucks, man, you can't really complain, honestly, guys. You know, what would I upgrade on this guitar? I mean, the only issue with this guitar is this. You know, the angle of the headstock with the strings. Like when I pulled this out of the case today, the G string was off. It just popped off the nut because it's such a steep angle. So the G string is really going like this. They could have put a couple of string T's in there just to keep things pressed down against the nut. And I guess you can possibly do it yourself. But the Jackson logo is so big that you kind of don't have room to. I would have to put one here, maybe one over here. That's a little bit too close to the edge, so I don't know. I'm just going to leave it as is. Yeah, Russell Crowe, that's it. Russell Crowe is the actor. Jeff Bridges I didn't know about. I wasn't sure about him. Billy Bob Thornton is another one. Yeah, but he did, I don't know, does he play guitar or does he sing? Billy's a really weird one as well. He's really yeah, he's got issues. Keanu plays bass. Yeah, I heard about that. But Keanu's busy building fancy motorcycles. I think he has shares in a motorcycle company. Hey, by the way, did you guys see the video, the commercial? Geddy Lee, and I happened to come across this yesterday. I don't know how I came across it. I was on YouTube and I was scrolling through some stuff, and I saw Alex Lifeson, Geddy Lee, and they're coming out with their brand of beer called Rush. It's a Canadian beer. What's more Canadian than beer, right? So does it surprise me that those two sort of have a sideline going for making beer? I'm not surprised at all. I would love to see those guys have some kind of a podcast or something like that, just going through, reminiscing, you know, the days and talking about the history and the crazy stuff going on with Rush. But they're Canadian, so I'm sure it wasn't that crazy. But I'm sure they have a few stories as well. I'd like to try some of that beer. I'm curious to see how it would pan out. They can I mean, maybe they can get into other kind of alcohol and just call it the spirits of the radio, you know? Maybe like whiskey, scotch, something like that. Sammy Hagar's into his tequila, right? So I guess it's the rock star thing to do. Tonefish said he has a signature guitar, Jeff Bridges signature Oregon Concerto Bourbon CE, $3,600. Wow, that's crazy. Reeves' band was called Dogstar. Not the best name in the world, huh? I've seen Billy Bob in concert twice. He has the last 3 albums out. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Billy Bob in terms of his in terms of his music capabilities. I like his acting though. I love him in the Sling Blade. Gonna get me some of them French fried potatoes. Mm-hmm. I love him in that. He's great. That was a great movie. Gospel of Mark says Geddy Lee was guest DJing on the Beatles channel on Sirius XM yesterday. I was listening to the Beatles. Once I heard him, I put a Rush on and embarrassed my kids. Yeah, so were you doing this in the car? Were you doing the falsetto thing in the car? Yeah, it's that is embarrassing. The kids must have been like rolling their eyes. Rush maple syrup. Yeah, that would be cool. I like that. That's Canadian too, right? Oh, man. Seth says the Fender Geddy Lee basses are notorious for having terrible fretwork. Be advised. Interesting. That's a shame, you know? Getty puts his name on something and Fender messes it up. Oh man, what can you do? Oh boy. Ever seen the Trailer Park episodes where they kidnap Alex Lifeson? No, I didn't see that one. I haven't. I didn't see that one. I wasn't really watching the Trailer Park Boys too often, so. I like the when I went to see the Rush concert. One of the last times I went to see the Rush concert, I liked that they had the cartoons, I can't speak. The cartoon intro when they're playing the Spirit of the Radio. So as they're getting, it's all dark and you see the screen, and you have the cartoons that are being projected, and they're starting to play the Spirit of the Radio. The cartoons are talking about how they have to start playing Spirit of the Radio, and as they do, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then they start, and Rush comes in with the beginning of the Spirit of the Radio. I thought that was pretty cool, how it was timed, and I don't know if you guys have seen the Rush concerts, the last couple of Rush concerts, but they were doing it with. Yeah, that was a great movie. Yeah, they were rolling rolling their eyes to Tom Sawyer, and me hitting the falsetto notes. Yeah. Can you actually hit the high notes? I'll check it out, Rico. Season 3, episode 5. All right, I'll check it out on the internet. Yeah, Keith, I did see that video where they're the Van Halenville other week. They had the girl from Hot for Teacher video, great stories and photos, mentioned photographer that took pictures of all the famous bands and gave the website photos, etc. Yeah, I did happen to stumble on that. Yeah, Tom Sawyer. Sorry, you're right. Flop-de-do. Yeah, that was Tom Sawyer. The beginning of Tom Sawyer, exactly. Yeah, and it was it South Park? I think it was the South Park cartoons, and then they were arguing amongst themselves, and then they were like in a 1 and a 2 and then they started with Tom Sawyer. That great concerts. I'm glad I caught the last couple of concerts with them. Quicksilver says, which reminds me of the crap Canada export as maple syrup. The stuff you find here in Prague is expensive and appears to be watered down. No thickness, viscosity at all, zero taste. Yeah, there's the real stuff and then there's the crap stuff. And it's like, Florida gives us crappy oranges. You get the oranges we get here from Florida are not nice oranges. They're like really crappy little oranges. You go to Florida, they're beautiful, they're juicy, they're big. They keep the good stuff for themselves. Well, I think we're doing the same with the maple syrup. We basically supply, I think, 90% of the world with the maple syrup that we produce here. So, sorry about that. I wasn't involved. It wasn't my decision. If it's not written 100% maple syrup on the can, it's not 100% maple syrup. That's for sure. It's probably half maple syrup, half sugar. Gospel of Mark says, I only got to see Rush once. It was in 2002. I was actually working at the concert for a radio station, so couldn't watch the whole thing. And I saw them a couple of times. Both times, great concerts. Really amazing. I don't know. I don't know if it's because I'm Canadian, whatever it is. It's just, I don't know. They've always been, an underappreciated band, and they did a lot, and they're great to watch. As a trio, man, they're so powerful. Oh man, Larry, you took your son with you. Awesome. Awesome. What did he think of Rush? 14 years old. I would have loved to take my son too. That's probably why they did that, because they're great Rush fans as well. But I thought that was so funny. You could probably find that clip of South Park where they're trying to play that song on YouTube. So just imagine, that clip and then Rush coming in with the real thing in all its glory. Gave me shivers, gave me goosebumps. It was awesome. Rico says, my son has tickets to the Rush Cinema Strangiato nationwide on the 9th of September. It's an R40 movie. Really? I gotta take a look at that. Dan of New Jersey says, speaking of gear, did everyone see Sweetwater was sold to a corporate group? I did not see that. Interesting. I wonder what that's going to represent in terms of deals and stuff going forward. Interesting. The stuff that I've seen in terms of gear, and we'll bring it back from the Rush conversation to the gear conversation, because we're kind of going off on a tangent with Rush and stuff. But yeah, the corporation's taken over. So between Mesa Boogie being taken over by Gibson, now the stores are being taken over by corporations as well. What does that really mean for us? Is it going to be harder to get the stuff we really want? Or is it just going to be like, they're going to cram the latest toys down our throat like Fender seems to be doing at the moment? Have you guys seen the Fender Digital Super Reverb? So they're really pushing the digital technology on their amps. I've seen a couple of people already playing the amplifiers and saying how good they are. Personally, I watched one of the videos where they were playing the digital one and they were playing the original one. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I still prefer the original one. There are some advantages though. I mean, obviously, not having tubes, I assume that it would be less trouble, probably. I don't know. Today we don't really know because the stuff is made overseas and sometimes it's made really cheaply. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to have issues, and maybe bigger issues down the line than an amplifier that's using tubes. But when I listen to the comparison between the modeling technology that they're trying to promote right now and the original, full-blown speaker tube version, the tube version had a nicer breakup, more natural breakup. The digital version seemed fizzy to me. Obviously, somebody that's looking at a lighter amplifier, I mean, those super reverbs are huge, right? They're 412s and they weigh a ton. So if you have an original super reverb, you're not going to carry that thing anywhere. It's going to probably stay at home. Where the digital ones now that they're coming out with, they're like 36 pounds. Not really heavy at all. So somebody that's wanting to, get something close to that sound in a package that is more portable, that's an option. 45 watts, so you have enough power, enough pump to play with a band. I think it even goes down to like 0.5 watts. So if you want to play it at home, it's doable. They still have the 410 speakers, 10-inch speakers. Different version, I think, though. But the price is still expensive. It's still $1,000. I think it's $1,005, something around that. I don't know if that's a Canadian or US. So it's not. They're not giving them away, but they're definitely pushing because I've seen a few people already promoting them, and honestly, I have zero interest in an amplifier that is not tubes. Just because I feel like the resale value is you're spending $1,500 on an amplifier like that. 3 years down the road, you're gonna have to give it away. It's just, people. It's a fad. They don't usually keep their value. So if I'm gonna be spending almost 2 G's on an amp, I prefer to have tubes. That's just me. If I want to go the digital route, I'll get a multi-effects unit or something like that, where I can have even more than one sound. So maybe it's just me, But I don't know. I'm not convinced. Paul says, Tony, the digital fenders are BS for pennies. They could have put all the fenders in one amp. It's just software. Well, didn't they do that? Didn't they do that with the Cyber Twin? Do you guys remember the Cyber Twin? Where it was a little bit more sophisticated than the amps that they're putting out now. But they definitely had more options in terms of sounds. But again, how many of you guys own a Cyber Twin? How many of you guys are looking for a Cyber Twin? That's exactly what I mean, you know? I got people saying, "Oh, they're wonderful, they're great, blah blah blah." They sound, yeah, okay, they're great, but I'm not dropping $1,500 on an amplifier like that. Sorry. If they were, if they really wanted my money, they would make those amps and charge you half the price. Then maybe I would consider one, you know. I mean, guys, there's a lot of options. Like, look at the Katana, for example. Everybody, there was a while everybody was talking Katana, Katana, Katana. Yeah, it's great, but how many of us are still talking about Katanas today? I mean, you can buy them used for peanuts now. So I don't know. I prefer to be old school in a sense, but at the same time, I like to buy something that's gonna eventually at least hold its value. I'm not gonna say go up in value, but at least hold its value. Like I said, if I'm gonna be going tubes, if I'm going to be going a transistor, I'm just going to get a multi-effects unit. I can get a pretty decent multi-effects unit. Like I think right now Headrush came out with their MX5 that people have been talking about for, what is it? It's like $399 US. You have what, 60 amps or something like that in that unit? I mean, I'm sure you can dial in a sound pretty close to that Fender amp as well, if it's not already in there. So, for $300, I can get a multi-effects unit that can do way more, because I could then, load my IRs. I have effects in there. I have different amp simulations in there. It'll be easier for me to record. It doesn't take much for me to take a little multi-effects unit and a powered speaker to a gig or something like that and get all the sounds that I want out of it. So don't get me cranked up about that. That's why I feel like sometimes, some of the reviewers out there are just dishonest, because yeah, they're trying to review the stuff and they're trying to tell you, they're trying to be diplomatic and not really telling you the whole story. They're reviewing the amp for what it is. They're not really giving you their opinion. But I like to give my opinion, whether it's right or wrong, or you agree with me or not. But I mean, my point of view is that you work hard for your money. You're buying something. If you like that particular product and it fits your needs, then yeah, it's the best $1,500 you've spent. And buy it, with all your heart and enjoy it. And if that's what you need, that's what you need. But if you're, trying to get swayed by people out there not really, giving you the full truth in terms of what you're going to be able to do with that amplifier 2 or 3 years down the line when you're going to want to flip it, and you're going to want to flip it, you're wasting your money. So if you really want to try out that amp, maybe wait a couple of years and you'll get it for half price. Somebody will be selling it on the used market. I know, Mark, I agree, man. The Katanas are good. I considered getting one too for a little while as a little practice amp for home. Same with the PV Bandits, which are tube. They sound pretty good. You can probably snag one up for like around $200 or so. There's nothing wrong with them, but you're not going to expect to buy a PV Bandit and be able to sell it for more 3 or 4 years down the line. You're going to have to sell it for half of what you paid for it if you're buying it new. So you're better off just buying it used when they pop up for a good deal, and then flip it when you're tired of it. Yeah, a lot of times they get them for free. They get them on loan, or they get a discount from the company so that they can review them. And then they end up selling them. Flopty Doo says, my Bandit 75 still sounds terrible after all these years. And then Rico says that's why your channel is great. Well, thank you, Rico. I try and be a straight shooter, but it doesn't always fly with people that are looking at getting their stuff out there, because it's always risky to send something for review to someone that's going to give you the straight dope, But I try and be as honest as I can, and I try and give you my perspective as somebody who is, into gear. And I'm constantly buying and selling stuff. I don't hang on to stuff that I don't play, whether it's expensive or not. I don't really care. The stuff that sticks around is because I like it and I enjoy it, and I wouldn't consider giving it away or selling it. But they need to do that a little bit more. Right now, Fat Philosopher says, yeah, I'm going down the multi-effects route. I can rent better amps if I need them for a gig. There was a time where I was buying or experimenting with more multi-effects units, but right now I gotta say, not as much. I kind of like the amp, the real tube amp situation. And for me, the multi-effects units I have currently really do what I need. I'm not really looking at another one. I mean, when the Headrush came out, it was interesting, but I had the full-blown Headrush too. Cost me, I think, originally it was like $1,600, which I sold because I just felt that it wasn't reliable enough. It's a big unit. It costs a lot of money. And the screen, I was hearing a lot of people having issues with the screens. I wasn't having issues with the screens, but it was just a matter of time when you're lugging stuff around to a gig that something's going to happen to it, and it's a lot of money to have lying around in a paperweight, a big paperweight, if something goes wrong with something like that. So the mini Headrush seems like a better deal because it's less expensive. If it's $400 US now, it's roughly about almost $600 Canadian. Eventually, I'll probably be able to get that used for about $400. So maybe I'll check it out. But there's a lot of options out there, is what I'm saying, guys. Eric says, I recently got one of those Zawe guitars, and it's been a few days since I ordered it from eBay, and they still haven't updated my order to shipped. Is this normal? Did this happen to you? Eric, no, I didn't. I got mine relatively quickly. I think I got it in less than 2 weeks. So yeah, if you're not getting any information, try reaching out to them again. Be patient. Sometimes it does take a little longer. It is coming from far away, and sometimes it does get... Like, I noticed that even though they give you the tracking information, it's not always easy to track stuff when it's coming from China. Until it gets to your continent, your city, sometimes you don't see any tracking, then all of a sudden it pops up. So give it some time, but you should be getting it. I got mine, so I'm happy with it. Paul says it's the pedals. Which ones are put on the reviewer's board? Which ones end up on reverb? Yeah, it's true. I mean, more often than not, even if you like a pedal, if you already have like 3 or 4 drive pedals that you like, are you gonna keep another one every time somebody sends you something to review? So eventually, yeah, they probably will end up on reverb unless you really like them. Gospel of Mark says they're selling a used katana for $150 at the guitar store in my town. See, like, I would probably pick up a katana for $150 just to have it on my bench, to use it as, a little amplifier when I'm setting up my guitars and stuff like that, and I want to check for fret buzz and all that kind of stuff. For $150, it's kind of worth it. I mean, it's flexible enough to do the job. At $150, I don't feel like you're throwing your money away. But it's not the type of thing that I know I'm going to be like eventually, keep hanging on forever is what I'm trying to say. Dan of New Jersey says the only solid state amp I have is a Fender Sidekick 10 bought in 1987, works perfectly. Yeah, some of them are, So guys, it's we've been online for over an hour, so I got to wrap it up. But I want to get to the poll question. So let's go into the poll question really quickly, and I'm gonna give you the answer and the information as I have it. So let's go into the poll. So what did Stevie Ray Vaughan name his most beloved guitar? So the winner, the one that most people chose, was number 1. And I'm not surprised, because that's the guitar that we see most often and we associate most often with Stevie. Number 2 was Lenny, which was named after his wife, Leonora. So I'm not surprised that's number 2. Number 3 is Jimbo. 4 is Scotch. And the last one was Charlie. So basically, from the information that I have, is that, and this is something that I'll give you a little bit of background in case you don't know, right? So there was a guitar that Stevie had that was named Jimbo, and this guitar was a 1951 Broadcaster, and it recently sold, I'm not sure how long ago, but it sold for $250,000 at auction. So this was a guitar that his brother Jimmy Vaughan gave Stevie Ray Vaughan when he was a kid. And he gave it to him because Stevie would often sneak into his room, since Jimmy was the older brother and playing guitar before Stevie. Stevie would sneak into Jimmy's room and play his guitars. And I guess Jimmy eventually got fed up, because Stevie used to say that, you know, Jimmy used to give him the beatings when he used to catch him playing his guitars, and he would most often do that when his brother wasn't home. So eventually his brother Jimmy Vaughan gave him this guitar when Stevie was 12 years old, and he carved Jimbo into it. I guess that was his nickname at the time. And yeah, basically he took the guitar, and Stevie stripped the guitar of its natural finish when he was in shop school, and he traded it eventually in 71. He traded it in 71 for an Epiphone Riviera. But after that, many years after that, even after he became very famous, he actually tried to get the guitar back, and I guess he lost track of where it ended up and, you know, who had it at the time. But he actually went on, you know, live shows and stuff and events, and put the message out to people that he would be willing to buy that guitar back, because it was a gift from his brother, and he really treasured it. And unfortunately, I don't think he ever did manage to get it back. Eventually, the guitar popped up again and went for auction, and the guitar sold for $250,000. So that's why you know, I put Jimbo as the answer to the question, because yes, I think his number 1 was one of his favorite guitars, because he definitely played the heck out of that guitar. But I think the one that was probably closest to his heart was the one that his brother gave him, because both the brothers were super tight. And so I'm going with that. So guys, that was the answer to the skill testing question. I guess if you're not a huge fan of Stevie Ray Vaughan, maybe you wouldn't know that, but that's my little history lesson for today. So guys, I gotta run. I apologize for not extending the show longer. I really am sorry to have to go earlier. I can easily go for another hour or so, but I appreciate you guys tuning in this Sunday. Stay tuned, because there's going to be other videos that I'm working on this week that are going to be popping up. And perhaps just because I cut this session a little bit shorter, maybe I'll do another session maybe during the week or something. A surprise day. It might not be Sunday though, guys. It might be just another day, and I'll do it at an odd time. And if you guys catch it, you catch it. If you don't, it's all good. But we'll be back again next Sunday. So if you missed the one that pops up, you can definitely tune in again next Sunday, and I'll have some more goodies and news for you as well. So that's it for today, guys. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy playing your guitar. If you haven't grabbed your guitar in a while, go grab it right now while the thrill is still there. Put in a couple of licks, play it for half an hour at least, and then go on about your day and get stuff done. But definitely put in some playing time. All right, guys? Thank you very much. See you soon, and stay safe, guys. All right? Till next Sunday. Yeah, thank you, Mark. I'm going to try and get a good jam in for sure. Peace out, guys. See you soon.